I'm Richard Johnson, employed by New North Citizens Council. I oversee their health and prevention programs or their health service units.
What is your organization currently doing to understand the impact of having a CORI on older adults in Western Massachusetts?
So part of what we do is listen. So we have the occasion to have folks drop into our center on a regular basis, daily actually, and they come in with the various challenges that they bring. And rather than try and have a pat answer for whatever it is that someone brings through the door, we really try and make an effort at hearing what their challenges are from beginning to end as they conceptualize them and then how they present them, as opposed to assuming we know what their challenges are.
What are the possible solutions and policy strategies to address the equity impacts of an older person living with a CORI?
So first I would begin with the individual that we're working with, whoever she or he may be, and really with an understanding of what their challenges are as we see them, as they've been presented. Try and help them understand how their challenges relate to the larger picture in terms of service agencies and individuals who are poised to assist them in various ways. A lot of folks lack the experience of navigating some of these systems, so we try to demonstrate to them through a very practical process how this program or this entity relates to their specific issues. And hopefully when they have an understanding of how one relates to the other, we're then able to kind of help them take the steps necessary to fully exploit and explore what it is that that program can do for them on a larger scale. I think part of the challenges really becomes how people interpret their prospects. If you present it in a way that says that, oh, these are such barriers that they're going to be insurmountable, then they really embody that. They take that to heart. But when you frame it in a way that not only can they better their condition, but that of their families, the ones that love them and care about them, they're able to leverage that new experience and that new knowledge with their loved ones and kind of mitigate some of the collateral challenges that encompass the family as a whole.
You help them navigate throughout the process towards a better life?
Absolutely. And we also say to them that one of the major components of this process really is patience and understanding that we can't pop our fingers and make a thing happen immediately. You know, there are things that aren't going to be gratifying immediately, but that through the process you'll see that gradually positive change is taking place if you stay the course. And that's a challenge for many.
How can we make solutions and policy strategies a reality in order to help older adults with a CORI?
I think first, those who are empowered to construct policy ought to have realistic expectations as to what the practical application is going to be. Meaning you should have a voice at the table or voices at the table who have lived experience, are experiencing things and challenges as we construct these policies, so that you might be much more informed and have a greater prospect for success. Oftentimes policies are constructed off in the wilderness somewhere and then superimposed upon a community or on a people and expecting some real solutions and some success. And it doesn't happen that way because they're not familiar with what the day-to-day challenges individuals are dealing with. So I think that as policy strategy goes, we really have to say that we need to look at what the challenges are from the perspective of the individual we hope to assist, and hear them when they tell us these things don't work and why. And where we're able to tweak the system or institutions, we ought to tweak them to be more user-friendly and not so literal. I mean, I think that a lot of things look good on paper, but they don't play well in the lives of people.
What support, both monetary and beyond, does your organization need to decrease the equity gaps for older adults living with a CORI record?
So, tangible deliverables, that's number one. If we say that this program or this process is poised to assist you in a specific way, then at that, when people make the commitment and they achieve the measures, the tangible, whatever it is, the deliverable that we said we would do, we need to be able to produce that. And they need to be incremental, because if you say that at the end you get this grand prize, but all through the struggle there's nothing, then the motivation and the intuitiveness to just continue the struggle is lessened. So I think that tangible to me means, if we say that if you go through this 3-month program, what will happen is that your CORI will no longer be considered as a barrier, because we won't consider it at all. And that's a matter of policy. If you've demonstrated that you've gone through financial management, then we will remove the barrier that says that you have to have this score on your credit to actually have your application for housing considered. If you demonstrate that you have consistently paid bills for whatever those bills are, whether they're cell phone or your car insurance or whatever those bills are, if you've consistently paid them, then you've demonstrated that you're a good risk. And so this will be reflected and be weighed in the consideration to provide you opportunity for viable, livable housing.
Can you describe your experience with participating in the HIA assessment?
So I think my greatest takeaway from that process had to do with having a real understanding of the collateral impact that aging individuals face with regard to their interactions with their family structures. If a person doesn't have a place that's theirs to lay their head, sometimes that takes a hit on their self-esteem and their willingness to see themselves in the most positive light. When we think about empowering them to understand that there's ways to get through the process successfully, how they're then able to talk with their children, their significant other, and demonstrate through their actions that they have value more than what meets the eye. I think that we take for granted how impactful it is for someone to look down at a grandchild or a child and see themselves in a less favorable light in their eyes or through their perspective, and what kind of toll that takes on them from a human's perspective. And I think that I took away from that the sense that people felt like I was genuine, that the effort that we were making through the process was really in their interest. It wasn't just about gathering information. It really was trying to move them along the continuum in a way that would ultimately result in them having a greater impact on their family structure. And that means not just their significant other, but grandchildren, children, and their children's peers who see you living from day to day and moving from place to place. So these things have a real toll on a person's spirit.